We've heard of the book, Where's Waldo? But for Norm's Facebook friends, they sometimes ask, where's Norm? The past 12 months, he's been to Chicago, Maui, Amsterdam, Prague, Warsaw, Cologne, Paris, Dublin, Washington, D.C. twice, and most recently, Iceland and Miami. Gosh, I'm tired just reading this. Today, he'll share how he did these things without spending a lot of money, Bob. Norm Dower with Travel Cheaply.
Right. This is not about a cruise, is it?
Okay.
Matter of fact,
Oh, no.
we all have a desire to travel, right, Rami?
Yeah.
We always blame it on two things, not enough time, not enough money. So today I'm going to tell you how to travel cheaply. In August of 1975, I drove from Pennsylvania out to California, ended up staying with my cousin, and then flew home to quit my job. I paid $300 to fly from Oakland to Philadelphia. Just last week, I flew from Miami to Iceland for $279.
Wow.
Round trip. The point is there's a lot of ways for you to travel less expensively. So today I'm going to break it down into three different areas: airfare, lodging, and time. Let's talk about airfare. There are many discount traveling airline companies out there right now. The one that I have discovered is called WOW, W-O-W Airline. They're based out of Iceland. They fly to Iceland and then they use Iceland as a jump point to go to Europe. I flew from Miami to Iceland for $279. Here's what's interesting. You know how much it costs to fly from Los Angeles to Iceland? $20 more. $280 to fly to Iceland from Los Angeles Airport. Another one that you should make a note of is Norwegian Air. Norwegian Air is an up-and-coming airline carrier that is also big into the discounts, and another one that's actually owned by British Airline called Level, L-E-V-E-L. They are just launching that. There's a great website, if you are interested, called Travel Pirates. Travel Pirates has a list of all kinds of different things, and they look for little holes that you can kind of jump on. So the point is, there's a lot of great ways to make your airline fees very reasonable. So you can't let the fact that the airline prices are so outrageous stop you from doing it. Let's move on to lodging. Before I get into that, let's talk about packing. Believe it or not, this is all I need. When you travel these discount airlines, the thing you want to avoid, do not check luggage. Luggage is going to cost you anywhere from $50 to $100 per piece.
What?
This bag right here held 19 days worth of clothing in it. In today's world, we have very easy to work with fabric. You can wash clothes in your shower and you can dry it overnight. And so the bottom line is that this little backpack has been several thousand miles already. Just now on my trip to New Zealand, I had to carry some stuff for cold and I also had to carry stuff for warm because I was in Miami for a couple of days. So the reality of it is that you do not need to pack anything more than what you need to. I never take more than 2 pairs of shoes. So ladies, how many pairs of shoes? Guys, John, how many
What
pairs
about
of shoes?
the high heel?
Yeah. Let's talk about lodging. It comes down into 2 words, or 1 word and 3 letters: Airbnb. Anyone here never heard of Airbnb? Airbnb allows you to rent a room or rent a house anywhere all over the world. You can rent a room in someone's house. Just now, I was in Iceland. It was a 3-bedroom apartment. I rented a single room for $50 a night, and I was the only one there.
Huh.
When I was in Amsterdam last year, it was a 3-bedroom as well. I think I paid $80 a night, and I was the only one there. Europeans like to travel a lot. They like to go on vacation a lot. So in many cases, you're going to actually rent a room in a house that's empty. Every once in a while, you're going to rent a room where there might be 1 or 2 other people there. You never know. You have to take what you get. But here's what I like about Airbnb. It's got something that most hotels don't have, and that's a refrigerator.
Yeah.
If you're going to go somewhere, and I try to eat healthy, and most of you probably eat healthy as well, if I'm going to be somewhere for more than a few days, I will go to the grocery store, and I'll get some yogurt, and I'll get some fruit, maybe I'll get some little things. I never cook, because it's not worth getting to that degree. But having access to a kitchen gives you a lot of flexibility. And so ideally, if you can have 1 or 2 meals where you're staying and only 1 meal outside, How much is that gonna save you?
Lot.
A lot of money. So Airbnb is a wonderful way to go. When it comes to lodging, you have to be very accommodating, you have to be very flexible. I've stayed in Prague, I've stayed in Warsaw, I've stayed in Paris, I've stayed in Miami, I've stayed in Iceland, all in Airbnbs. I've probably stayed at about a dozen places. I've only had one experience that was less than ideal, and that was just a disconnect between me and the hostess. I also, on my apartment up in Costa Mesa, put my second bedroom available on Airbnb, and I get $60 a night. So I usually make somewhere between $400 and $600 a month
Wow.
by having someone come in and rent a room for me.
Wow.
It's also kind of cool because you get to meet people from all over the world. I have a guy coming in next week from Memphis, and you also create friendships. When I was in Cologne, Germany last year, the gentleman that was there was very accommodating. His girlfriend came in from Berlin. He said, "Do you want to walk with us downtown?" I says, "Of course." What's better than to have a local host?
Yeah.
So along the lines of local hosts, there's a couple of things that accommodate that. One is called mealsharing.com, where you go to mealsharing.com, you identify the city you want to go to, and you can actually have dinner with someone in that town. They are usually chefs or cooks, and they will make a meal for anywhere from one person to maybe 10 people. So it gives you a chance to go to a strange town. Instead of being by yourself, you have the chance to, of course, meet with locals. Another one is called couchsurfing.com.
Heard of
And
that.
even though the name says couchsurfing, it's not just a couch. You can also rent a room, and the beauty of it is couchsurfing.com is zero. It's free. There's thousands of locations all over the world where you can go to these locations and you can crash on someone's sofa or you can crash on someone's spare bedroom. And they do it because they want to do it. They like having brand new people coming in. Now, for me as a dating man, thank God for Tinder and Bumble, because I can go and I can find a lady over there to have dinner with.
What else?
And you know what? That's okay too. And I tell them very candidly, I'm not looking for a hookup, but it's always nice to eat with someone else rather than eat by yourself. Would you agree? Let's talk about time. A lot of times we think we don't have enough time, but I was in Iceland for 3 days. 1 week ago right now, I arrived in Iceland at 4:30 a.m. I was there all day Wednesday, I was there all day Thursday, I took an all-day 8-hour tour, and then I left that Friday afternoon. So the reality of it is that you don't need to go for 15 days and be ensconced in a cruise ship.
Shade on the
You can actually go
cruise.
many places for short periods of time. Last year, when I was in Europe for 19 days, I spent 3 days in Amsterdam, I spent 3 days in Dublin, I spent about 3 days in Prague, and then later on I went to Paris and to Warsaw. I was only in Paris for 48 hours. I look at it as a chance for me to find out, is this a place that I want to go back to? And so far, every place I've been is a place I want to go back to, which is not a bad thing to do. The key to controlling your time is to chill. When I used to travel, and I'm sure many of you can relate to this, we build up this anxiety where you have to be somewhere at a certain time. If you just kind of let that go and realize you have to give yourself enough time. Like for instance, when I was leaving Iceland on Friday, I decided to go I know I'm going to go over on time, this is a good story. There was a set of waterfalls that was on the south side that was a little distance away. I had a car, first time I ever rented a car internationally, so I decided to go there. And of course the weather changed and it got really rainy and really windy, but I saw the waterfall. Didn't have mobile service on my phone, but I had a very cursory GPS, and I'm looking to find out how long it's going to take me to get back to the airport. 2 hours and 45 minutes. It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and my flight leaves at 6:45.
Oh boy, forget it.
So I'm kind of freaking out, but I drove very quickly, and I went back to the town. Well, come to find out, my cursory GPS wasn't that accurate, and as I moved closer and closer, the time shrunk. Instead of being 2 hours and 45 minutes, it was probably an hour and 45 minutes, or maybe an hour and a half. But I get to the town where I was stayed before, because I had to backtrack, and as I'm driving from there to the airport, it starts snowing.
Oh my God.
Not just small flakes, but flakes the size of your thumb. So I'm driving in a snowstorm, trying to get back to the airport that I'm already late for. There's a whiteout. Meanwhile, I've got to gas up the car. I have to turn my car back in. And so all these things are happening. But you know what? I chilled. I got to the airport about 6:15. The flight was supposed to leave at 6:45. We were already going to be delayed 30 minutes getting through the gate, and we sat there for 3 hours while they de-iced the plane.
Oh boy.
So the point is that sometimes we can freak ourselves out by thinking that we are on this very, very tight time schedule, where sometimes you just have to relax and let it go. So ladies and gentlemen, You don't need to worry about the $20,000 cruises and being nickel and dimed to death on tax and overpriced. I can buy little tchotchkes for a couple of dollars. I can put refrigerator magnets on the refrigerator, and you know what? That's going to give me enough memories for me to remember where I've been. So you can travel cheaply if you do it smart.
What are you doing there?
Take that, Mr. Nestor.
He's not.